Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Armageddon. Today we're going to be featuring a Brawl deck with Emry, Lurker of the Loch as our commander, as part of our series of Brawl videos featuring commanders from Throne of Eldraine. Emry may seem underpowered as a 1/2 for 3 mana, but she can provide a lot of value. Emry is a commander who cares about artifacts. The more artifacts you have in play, the cheaper she is to cast, and often you can still cast Emry for only 1 blue mana, even after she has been removed a couple of times, because of all the artifacts you'll have in play. She can also allow us to cast artifacts from the graveyard, and mills 4 cards when she enters, helping to enable her ability. I've split up the deck into different categories, so let's start with the mana accelerants. We have the traditional ramp artifacts, permanents that give mana discounts, and a few other ways of accelerating our mana. We have Mox Amber, which is great with a commander who is so cheap to play if you have a few artifacts on the battlefield. At 2 mana, Automated Artificer adds 1 mana to activate abilities or cast artifact spells. We also have some of the usual ramp artifacts: Arcane Signet, Cold Steel Heart, Guardian Idol, Mind Stone, the new Solar Transformer from Modern Horizons 3, and the Iron Crag. We have a lot of accelerants at 3 mana. Thran Spider creates a Power Stone token and can provide card advantage in the late game. We're always going to choose to discount artifacts with Cloud Key, while Foundry Inspector also discounts our artifacts. Network Terminal can loot in addition to ramping us, while Phial of Galadriel can draw an extra card if we're empty-handed. Pristine Talisman also gains this life, while Relic of Legends can tap Emry to add extra mana. Semblance Anvil can provide a massive discount for our artifact spells if we exile an artifact with it, while the Celestis provides card selection and life gain. Unstable Obelisk also acts as removal that we can recur with Emry. And finally, Warren Power Stone adds 2 mana. At 4 and 5 mana, we have Hedron Archive, which adds 2 mana and can be sacrificed to draw cards. Joyrus Familiar, which discounts our historic spells, including our artifacts. Rune-Carved Obelisk, which can be sacrificed to seek a card. Forsaken Monument, which doubles how much colorless mana we produce, gains us life when we cast colorless spells, and buffs our colorless creatures. And the Might Stone and Weak Stone, which can either draw 2 cards or remove a creature when it enters, and which adds 2 mana for artifact spells and activated abilities. Next, we have artifacts which we can sacrifice for value. We actively want these artifacts to go to the graveyard so that we can later recast them with Emry. Mishra's Bauble is free to cast and draws a card while also giving us information about either our or our opponent's next draw. Aether Spellbomb can either bounce a creature or draw a card. Orazca Puzzledore puts a card in our hand while also filling the graveyard for Emry. Hope of Ghirapur is a flyer that can be sacrificed to prevent the opponent from casting non-creature spells on their next turn. Wayfarer's Bauble, meanwhile, puts an additional land onto the battlefield when we sacrifice it. Bumbleflower Sharepot, a new artifact from Bloomburrow, creates a food token and can destroy any non-land permanent. Spare Supplies draws a card when it enters and when it is sacrificed. The Filigree Silex provides an effect like Blast Zone, and if we get it to 10 oil counters, can also act as a win condition. Our next category are miscellaneous value plays. Waterlogged Hulk fills the graveyard for Emry and can be transformed into the Watertight Gondola, which late in the game can't be blocked and which Emry can crew. Swiftfoot Boots and Mithril Coat can protect Emry, while Sculpting Steel can enter as a copy of any other artifact, including one controlled by the opponent. Icy Manipulator can tap down opposing creatures, artifacts, or lands. Paradox Engine, which is banned in Commander, but still legal in Brawl, is part of our game-winning combo, along with Aetherflux Reservoir, which I'll get to shortly. Paradox Engine untaps our non-land permanents whenever we cast a spell, so with enough ramp artifacts in play, it can generate infinite mana. We have only one Planeswalker in the deck, so the Immortal Sun is great as a way to shut down Planeswalkers, draw additional cards, buff our creatures, and discount our spells. Our only Planeswalker is Ugin the Ineffable, who discounts our artifact spells, and still does so even if we also have the Immortal Sun in play, create spirit tokens that provide card advantage when they leave the battlefield, and act as removal. Next, we have artifacts that provide card advantage. Braided Net can tap opposing non-land permanents, and can then be crafted to transform into Braided Quipu, which can draw us a lot of cards. Tamiyo's Logbook taps to draw a card, and in our deck we can usually activate it for only 1 blue mana. Palantir of Orthanc either lets us draw a card, or fills our graveyard for Emry, damaging the opponent as it does so. The One Ring is an indestructible card draw engine, and is a crucial part of our combo with Paradox Engine and Aetherflux Reservoir. Mystic Forge can cast most of our spells off the top of our deck, and can exile lands we don't need or spells we can't cast to dig for more action. Finally, Thought Monitor is a flying threat that draws 2 cards when it enters, and in our deck can usually be cast for a single blue mana. Next, we have our win conditions. Patchwork Automaton grows as we cast artifact spells and has Ward, making it difficult to interact with. Kappa Cannoneer is even better because it picks up +1/+1 counters when any artifact, including tokens, enters, and it can't be blocked when it does. Smuggler's Copter, meanwhile, is a flyer that Emry can crew and that loots when it attacks or blocks. Surginger Meal Ender gets bigger as we sacrifice artifacts, and is particularly powerful if the opponent has a Planeswalker in play. Simulacrum Synthesizer scries when it enters, and creates enormous construct tokens whenever our more expensive artifacts enter. Finally, Aetherflux Reservoir can help us stabilize, gaining life each time we cast a spell, and is part of a game-winning combo with Paradox Engine. Our next category consists of ways to search for particular artifacts, which we want to use to find one of our win conditions usually. Inventor's Fair is utility land that gains life if we control enough artifacts, and can be sacrificed to search our library for any artifact and put it into our hand. Fabricate, one of our few non-artifact spells, also searches our library for any artifact and puts it into our hand, while Whir of Invention, which can be discounted if we tap artifacts to help pay for its mana cost, puts an artifact directly onto the battlefield. Our final category of spells consists of our interaction, in the form of counterspells. Wash Away is an efficient way of countering the opponent's commander. At 2 mana, Essence Scatter and Glorious Gale counter creature spells, while Negate counters non-creature spells. We then have the classic counterspell, along with Mana Drain, which adds mana to our mana pool equal to the mana value of the spell we countered with it. Finally, 3 steps ahead is really a 3-mana counterspell, which can also be cast to create a token copy of one of our artifacts or creatures, or to draw 2 cards and discard. Moving on to our mana base, we are playing with a lot of utility lands. Archway of Innovation from Modern Horizons 3 can make it so that spells we cast can be discounted by tapping artifacts with Improvise. Castle Vantress and Rivendell can scry to help us find more action. Hollow Storm Giants can act as win condition in a pinch. Memorial to Genies can be sacrificed to draw 2 cards. Odawara Soaring City can be channeled to bounce most any non-land permanent. Hall Tagson can create Power Stone tokens to ramp us. We can draw cards with Arch of Araska once we have at least 10 permanents, including lands, in play. Blast Zone can be sacrificed to destroy all non-land permanents with mana values equal to the number of charge counters on it. Buried Ruin can be sacrificed to recur an artifact. If we discard a card to Fomori Vault, we can look at a lot of cards and put one of them into our hand, and it is more useful the more artifacts we have in play. Plaza of Heroes, and Tyrite Sanctum can protect Emry, while the Mycosynth Garden can turn into a copy of one of our other non-token artifacts. Takasia's Dig Site surveils, letting us look at the top card of our library and either keeping it or putting it into the graveyard. Treasure Vault, which is also an artifact, can be sacrificed late in the game to create treasure tokens. Now, it can't be replayed from the graveyard with Emry's ability because she can only cast spells, not play lands. Although we are playing more non-basic lands than most monocolored decks do, we still have lots of basic islands, along with Fabled Passage and Prismatic Vista to search them up. Finally, Darksteel Citadel is indestructible and is also an artifact to make casting Emry cheaper. So that's our Emry deck. Now let's take it into the queue and play some games. Okay. Up against Essica, God of the Tree, usually played as the Prismatic Bridge, which puts a creature or planeswalker on the battlefield at the beginning of your upkeep. I've got all ramp, although the Celestis and Network Terminal do let me draw and discard. Only 2 lands. We're on the play. I don't have much interactions. I don't have any counter spells. Maybe I should look for a hand with a counter spell in it. Okay, we've got Mana Drain, 3 lands, Mithril Coat, don't know if I'll need that, and some ramp, so I think we can keep this. Alright, Fabricate. Pristine Talisman. Alright, so sure. Wayfarer's Bauble could be nice as something to get back with Emry. I think it's between Mithril Coat and Pristine Talisman to discard. I guess I can get either one also back with Emry. Didn't draw a land. Alright, then we milled 2 lands. We also milled Capicannoneer. Whir of Invention. Leyline of the Guild Pact. I think we let that resolve. Alright, land is good. If I want to cast Semblance Anvil, I have to exile Mithril Coat. We've got Mana Drain up for Prismatic Bridge. Which they can cast. Alright. What did we search for? I think we'll get Paradox Engine. And that's enough for opponent. Alright. So that is how Paradox Engine works. And you can probably see we didn't even have all of our combo pieces like Etherflux Reservoir, which we probably could have searched up with Fabricate and started to try to close out the game with as early as this turn. We could have also searched up for the One Ring to start drawing all of the cards in our deck. So that's the power of Paradox Engine. Alright, on we go. Alright, on the play, facing Golos. So either Spell Bomb, not particularly good against Golos because of Golos's enter ability. The Might Stone and Weak Stone can remove Golos. And I do have the Filigree Silex. Only 2 lands. I can sacrifice Ether Spellbomb to draw cards. So well, that might help us hit our land drops. I could consider trying to mulligan to find a counterspell, but I think with the Might Stone and Weak Stone and Filigree Silex as removal, that should be fine. So we'll try it. Semblance Anvil. We'll play the boots. We can play Emry and equip the boots. Paradise Druid. We draw a land. That's great. Milled Hull of Storm Giants. That's kind of too bad. Alright. I can't play Patchwork Automaton or Mithril Coat from the graveyard. So I guess we'll attack with Emry. My opponent is not interested in trading. They could play Golos, which they do. Not drawing a land is unfortunate. If the opponent plays a land, they can replay Golos. Alright, opponent does not have a land. Alright, land is good. I could use get filigree silex up to 2 oil counters and then use it to destroy the Paradise Druid and Elysian Caryatid next turn. Although that would also destroy my Patchwork Automaton and Swiftfoot Boots. Although it'll be easy to get them back with Emry and the Semblance Anvil. Alright, Tamiya's Logbook. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this activates for 1 blue mana. Alright, Patchwork, and that's enough for opponent. Alright, well that was lucky. Despite opponent ramping out Golos on turn 3 with a Dark Ritual, we were able to disrupt them and they weren't able to draw a 4th land to play Golos again. And Ether Spellbomb could bounce the Caryatid, so they would have been stuck again if they didn't draw land. And we had the Mightstone and Weakstone to remove Golos. And Patchwork Automaton getting pretty big. Patchwork Automaton is one of the cards that we can use to win the game if we don't have our Paradox Engine Aetherflux Reservoir combo. Anyway, on we go. Another Isika Prismatic Bridge deck. I've got 3 lands, Mana Drain, Simulacrum Synthesizer is good as win condition, and both of the other artifacts I have in hand will trigger it. I don't have any ramp. But I think this is still fine. I like having a counterspell for Prismatic Bridge, so I think we'll keep this. And we want to find ramp artifacts that tap for mana, so I can untap them with Paradox Engine. Worn Power Stone. That also triggers Simulacrum Synthesizer, so I think we'll play the Synthesizer first. Worn Power Stone is just the sort of card we want to go with Paradox Engine, and there's Aetherflux Reservoir. Alright, so we're lucky opponent is not ramping. Alright, I could draw these and put them in the graveyard with Emry, but I think I want to try and hit my land drop, so we'll send those to the bottom. Alright, opponent ramps with Chromatic Lantern. So that means they can possibly play Prismatic Bridge next turn. If I drawn a land, I would have been able to play Emry and still hold up mana drain. I think we have to hold up mana drain. Yep, there's their fourth land, so they can play Prismatic Bridge. They play Lithiform Engine. I think we let that go. Still no land. Home plays a tap land. We might just have to counter whatever they play. Okay. We should have had Essence Scatter. Still no land. That's really frustrating. On the other hand, we do have two 5/5 constructs already. Oh, now we don't. Alright, Mithril Coat. Still not drawing lands is definitely frustrating. Alright, and then I think we hold up Essence Scatter and Mithril Coat. Alright, so Vraska can destroy artifacts, but that's fine because we can get them back with Emry. They target Emry. Alright, the Immortal Sun. I am definitely not happy with missing my land drops. What can we get back? We can get back Ether Flux Reservoir. And cast Ether Spellbomb for free with Joyous Familiar. And I think we want to get the Immortal Sun down next, because opponent's probably going to have more Planeswalkers. They've got Omniscience, can't do anything about that. Fortunately, they only have 2 cards in hand, so they might not be able to get that much value off of it. We'd be in much better shape if we weren't missing our land drops. Alright, so we definitely want to get the Immortal Sun down here. Finally hit a land. We'll exile Essence Scatter. And we hit another land. That's useful. Alright, Vraska and Ashiok don't have passives I need to worry about. I think I'll wait to play Emry until I can equip the Mithril Coat, just in case. Opponent's down to 16. Now, the problem is with Captain Cisse, they'll be able to draw a legendary card of any kind and copy the ability with Lithoform Engine and play them for free with Omniscience. Now it gets Ulamog, which they can cast for free, so that's enough for us. Yeah. Alright. Well, if they hadn't had Omniscience, I think we would have been in great shape. But unfortunately, with that plane-wide celebration, getting back Captain Cisse and Vraska, I think that that was a little too much for us to handle. And then missing land drops also hurt us a lot, I think. We probably would have been in better shape had we hit our land drops. Anyway, that sometimes you get outvalued. Anyway, on we go. Alright. Shoulder the Apocalypse. Kind of want to have a counter spell in my opening hand here. And I only have 2 lands, neither of which are blue sources. And no spells I can cast unless I draw a land. So I think that's a mulligan. Still only 2 lands. I do have some ramp artifacts. Sculpting Steel, no removal, interaction, or counterspell. I think we go to 6. Alright. Unstable Obelisk can destroy Shouldered. Then I can copy something with, although maybe it's Sculpting Seal I send to the bottom. Braided Net. Drawing a lot of cards could be a problem. We'll try this. I've got Buried Ruin to get back an artifact. Aetherflux Reservoir. Opponent plays Ichor Wellspring, drew another land. Opponent plays Gix. The Immortal Sun. Okay. I think we keep up Icy Manipulator to tap Gix. Would have liked to have drawn a land. And we mill 3 lands. Smuggler's Copter can block Gix. And we tap down Shouldered with Icy Manipulator. They sacrifice Ichor Wellspring. To Deadly Dispute. That's pretty nice. Get to draw 3 cards. Alright, Dockside Chef, that's fine. Move Emry to the command zone, I mean. I'll trade Smuggler's Copter for Gix. And I think we do draw a card here. Alright, the Celestis. And then discard Braided Net, maybe? Take 2 off Shouldered. Mishra's Bauble. Alright, land is useful. Opponent. We get their life total up to the point where Aetherflux Reservoir is not that useful. Alright, Immortal Sun should be good. And to my knowledge, I guess they could play colorless artifact removal. Alright, Mithril Coat. Alright. So we have 7 mana. Now the problem with Immortal Sun is that that draws extra cards. I could sacrifice Unstable Obelisk to destroy Lol. I think we'll play Immortal Sun. Alright, another land is useful. Alright. I hate discard. So opponent is reaching the point where I won't be able to kill them with Aetherflux Reservoir. Alright, Inventor's Fair. I'm dead to Shouldered. next turn. So I have to destroy Sholdred. And then I have to hold Emry back as a blocker. Okay, so I'm just dead here. Good game. Alright, so we needed to counterspell. Going down to 6 definitely hurt. And then we did miss land drops a couple times, so that was definitely unfortunate. Alright, on we go. Alright, on the play, I've got Arcane Signet, Fabricate, can find a win condition like Paradox Engine, which goes well with Arcane Signet and Rune Carved Obelisk, and then we have Aetherflux Reservoir. My lands come into play tapped, which is a bit unfortunate, but I think we can still keep this. We'll have to get lucky a bit and draw lands, but we'll try it. Opponent mulligans. Alright, another tap land. Untapped land. Which I play, and so I can hold up negate. Which might be good against a ramp spell. Although, okay, no ramp for opponent. If I play Sir Ginger, Rivendell comes into play untapped. And then I can play Emry and still hold up negate. Alright. Opponent not ramping, which is lucky for me. There's Bilbo, retired burglar. Getting land is pretty good. Alright, Sir Ginger can't block Bilbo anyway. Emry can. Alright, opponent trades. I actually don't mind that. And then we can play Rune Carved Obelisk, play Guardian Idol, and still hold up Negate. Honest Rutstein, so they can get Bilbo back. What I really want is a creature counter spell. Land is not actually that bad. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. I'm not sure if it's worth holding up Negate. But I think I will. Alright, Drana Inland Vala, so I can't activate Emry. I can still get artifacts back with Buried Ruin. There's Bilbo again. Though I'm not sure if there's an artifact I want to get back with Buried Ruin. So I think we scry with Rivendell. Inventor's Fair and Mana Drain. I think I would like to draw both of those because Inventor's Fair can get me the one ring, and that lets me combo off with Aetherflux Reservoir and Paradox Engine. Alright, I can sacrifice Buried Ruin at instant speed if I want to get one of Sir Ginger or Hope of Girapur back. So as long as opponent doesn't have interaction for Aetherflux Reservoir or Paradox Engine. Ethereal Coat is fine, although maybe we'll negate that. No, I guess that's fine. Alright, if I block Bilbo with Emry, I have to sacrifice Emry, so I don't think we'll do that. Opponent discards Creation of Avacyn. No blocks. They don't attack with Drana and Linvala for some reason. Oh, and we disconnect, so just a second while I sort that out. Okay, we're back. I think I'll get back Hope of Ghirapur here. And then we're just short of scrying with Rivendell, although I know what I'm drawing anyway. So we'll get the One Ring. Cast the One Ring. So now we're going to combo off, because we're going to untap our mana rocks and the One Ring with Paradox Engine. So we'll be drawing infinite cards. Joy was familiar. And how this works is we have to get to 50 life by casting spells with Etherflux Reservoir in play. And then we kill opponent with Etherflux Reservoir. So that's the combo. And we just need to cast one more spell. And bam! And there you have it. That is the Aetherflux Reservoir Paradox Engine combo, which is a lot easier to achieve with the One Ring, because you can draw all of the cards. So that's how it works. So I'm glad that you got to see it in action at least once. On we go. Okay, on the draw, I've got 3 lands, Mishra's Bauble for card draw, Filigree Silex, a little slow, but it is removable. So is Unstable Obelisk, well, it's even slower. And I have Aetherflux Reservoir, so I think we'll try it. Mystic Forge, that's useful. Alright, Memorial to Genius is fine, hitting land drops is fine. Opponent plays land tax, which is not as good on the play as it is on the draw, because you're the one playing your lands before opponent, so you don't get the benefit of land tax unless your opponent plays extra lands, which we will not be doing unless we get Wayfarer's Bauble. I could destroy land tax with the Filigree Silex. Opponent hits their land drop. Ugin, that's good. Could play Emry. I think I'm going to ramp with Unstable Obelisk. Inherited Envelope. Alright, Monk's Amber. So I could play Emry, Mox Amber, and Mystic Forge, or Aetherflux Reservoir, or play Aetherflux Reservoir. I think we play Aetherflux Reservoir first. So opponent can play Joda, but I can destroy Joda with Ugin. Alright, draw another land, that's useful. I think we'll thin out the deck with Fabled Passage, and then play Ugin, blow up Joda. They could replay Joda next turn if they draw a land. Ugin also great because he discounts my artifacts. Alright, it's a tap land. Glissa Sunslayer. I could blow up Glissa with the Filigree Silex, which would also get rid of my Unstable Obelisk and Inherited Envelope, and Krenko. Okay, I think that is the right move. Another land is Blast Zone. That's kind of useful. All right, we hit 3 artifacts off Emry. Tamiya's logbook, not colorless, so it doesn't get a discount from Ugin. All right, wash away. That's actually not bad because we can hold that up. Opponent can't replay Joda. Witch King of Angmar. And get rid of Ugin. And they can discard cards to make it indestructible. Alright. But we might just be able to kill opponent this turn with Ether Flux Reservoir and hitting cards off the top of our library. We can bounce Witch King of Angmar with Ether Flux Spellbomb. Ugin also a great way to get rid of cards we can't cast with Mystic Forge off the top. Alright. We'll draw that. Hope to hit an artifact. We do. I can cast it for free. Um, we'll draw negate. Can't play Treasure Vault. And Surveil with Takesha's Dig Site. Buried Ruin. Well, that's still enough for our opponent, because we're actually getting pretty close to just combo killing them with Aetherflux Reservoir. Could be next turn, probably. We might have been able to do it this turn, but we hit a pocket of lands. Anyway, so sometimes you can get it done with Aetherflux Reservoir without even having Paradox Engine or the One Ring. So there we go. On we go. Alright, on the draw, I've got Automated Artificer, Pristine Talisman for ramp, Mithril Coat to protect Emry, Whir of Invention, can find any artifact and put it on the battlefield. Three lands. On the draw is a bit annoying, but we'll try it. Alright, Essence Scatter. That was a useful draw. If I were on the play, I would be able to play Automated Artificer. The Ozolith is fine. Alright, we'll take one from Soul Warden. Alright. I think we hold up Essence Scatter, and at least this time, opponent keeps missing land drops. We can flash in Mithril Coat. Obviously better to flash it in when you can equip it for free to Emry. Alright, wouldn't mind drawing something other than lands. And then I can play Pristine Talisman and hold up Essence Scatter. I could play Automated Artificer as well. Which might be better to block Soul Warden. Sure. And then I can play Pristine Talisman, Emry, hold up Essence Scatter. Okay, opponent attacks here. Alright, that's fine. Another land that's getting a bit old. Alright, so that was great. We milled Negate. We've got Kappa Cannoneer, Hedron Archive, and Mishra's Bauble. Alright, and opponent. That's enough for our opponent. I'll take it. Did we have fun in the match? Sure. Alright, so that's our Emry deck. Some games we won just because of our interaction, some we won because our opponent were lucky, like this one, and we got to combo off a couple times, which was nice too. So there, you can actually win in a wide variety of ways. So that'll do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. If you'd like to see a different commander from Eldraine or a commander from a different set altogether, let me know in the comments. Thanks again. Have a good one. Bye.